Hey everyone, Tech OG here, representing those who are 40 and up who love their tech. And this video is going to be my decisive video on which phone am I going to use as my daily driver. I've been trying to find a perfect phone for a while, and I didn't buy a lot of phones, but phones that I did buy, I bought them for how I can use them. So for the most part, for majority of my time having a smartphone, I've been with Apple for a long time. I bought an old rooted Note phone before, and even though that was kind of cool, kind of went back to the iPhone, and then I was getting a little frustrated with iPhone because, as you probably already know from past videos, every iPhone I had, I pretty much jailbroke it. And I just been getting frustrated with the jailbreaking scene. So I went over, and I think, last year, I purchased the Galaxy S9. My first ever, I wouldn't say first ever, but first Android phone bought from a store, and just out of the box, just straight using it. So not rooted, none of that stuff, just straight phone. So I've been going back between different phones, even though this has been my daily driver for a little over a year, or I would say about a year, because I got this last March actually. I kind of went back and forth to the iPhone, and a week ago purchased this on eBay. This is a rooted Note 3, and while each of them have their strengths, each of them are missing things that the other phone has. So I've been going back and forth. Oh, excuse me for a second. I got the Ring system, so it alerts me when things come near my door. So anyway, going back and forth between these phones, and like I said, liking certain features of each phone, but wishing that all these phones were merged into one. So basically, I just have to make a decision. Which phone am I going to use as my daily driver? And I have a list of things that I want to talk about as far as what I actually look for when it comes to getting the phone and using the phone. First up is form factor. When it comes to the form factor, I like sleek and small. Period. End of story. That's one of the reasons why I got the Unihertz Atom and the Unihertz Jelly Pro. Even though they were small, well, the Atom wasn't really sleek. It was like thick, but still small. Using that very, very tiny 2.14 inch screen was just a hassle, especially playing games and things like that. So let's go to form factor. My Galaxy Note 3. The form factor, I like it. It's thin. I like the thinness of it. It's light, even with a pretty big battery in it. It's pretty light. It's thin, but it's very, very wide. This feels like a frisbee. It feels like a brick in your hand. I've always said that about this phone. So in the past, I never really wanted to get it, and I've made fun of it a lot because, like I said, it really truly does feel like a frisbee in your hand. This thing is massive. If you have big hands, yeah, works well. But my hands, it doesn't work very well. I don't like how it feels. I mean, it's just huge. My trusty untethered jailbroken iPhone 6. Look at the form factor on this. Very thin, small, way smaller than that frisbee of a phone over there. This just feels really good in my hand, even though the iPhone 5 is the best phone Apple has ever made when it comes to form factor in my hand. Yeah, it's a little thicker, but it was small. Screen was large enough to watch movies, videos, and screen was large enough to play games on. That was the best phone they've ever made. Not saying that the 6 is bad. It's just that it's a little wider, and I get why it had to be wider. It's for you to, enjoy your videos, things like that. But, you know what I'm saying? As far as comparing it to the Note 3, this just feels better. Way better. Like I said, just as thin. And it feels premium because it's metal. It's not plasticky like that phone right there. So iPhone 6 feels really good. Form factor is really good. Next up to bat is my S9. This S9 is, in my opinion, even though the S10 is coming in about a week, next week, actually, shoot. Even though it's going to be here next week, I'm not going to get it. Why? this is still a fairly new phone. It works great. The processor is blazing fast. Form factor, thin, feels really good even though it's a large phone. And look at that real estate of the screen. The bezels are small compared to the iPhone and the Note 3. The bezels on here are smaller than the iPhone, but the bezels on this one, smaller than both of them. Very light in your hand. All three are very light. Because it is a premium phone and it's glass all around pretty much. It's slippery, so you're definitely gonna need a case because you will drop it because it's so slippery. But other than that, great form factor. Next up is battery life. As far as any phone is concerned, whether it's new, old, whatever, it all depends on how you use it, what you're using it for. You can expect between 5 and 7 hours of usage of your phone. Turning it on, turning it off, watching a video here, looking at Facebook there, looking at Instagram here, Twitter there, calendar stuff, listening to music. So, depending on how you use your phone, just expect 5 to 7 hours. So, they all are pretty good. So, it doesn't matter what brand, how new it is, how old it is. You're just going to basically get the same amount of battery life out of all of your phones. Next up, features. As far as features on my rooted Galaxy Note 3, what makes this cool, one of the features that's already, that makes this phone famous, the notes, is having the use of an S Pen. That is so cool, where you can write on the screen, Smart Select, you can create a note. Let's create a note right now. Wait. Hello. Very cool. As you can see, as far as the processing speed, because this phone is an older phone, sometimes you gotta wait some seconds for an application to load up. And that's one of the drawbacks of using this phone. Processor speed, yeah. But coolness, still cool. And because this is running on a ROM, the Phronesis ROM. And so with this ROM, I have, as you can see here, the features of Note 7. Dang it. Turn on. You just turn on. There we go. Features of a Note 7, Note 5, things like that. So got a lot of things on here. A lot of different features, basically from other phones, on this older phone. So that's what makes it really cool. Even though the processor is slow, I still have a lot of cool features such as Apps Edge, things like that. So as far as features, this phone has a whole ton of them. My trusty untethered jailbroken iPhone 6 has lots of cool features. Features that you get from the Cydia store. Lots of cool features. As you can see when I get a notification, usually notifications are huge, but I have this tweak that makes it really, really small. So that's what's cool. Infinidot makes it cool. Live wallpaper makes it cool. A lot of cool features on here. Don't have to press my home button to get into my recent apps. But what's bad about this phone as well, it takes a couple seconds for applications to run because it's an older processor. I mean, it's faster than the Note 3. Don't get me wrong. Faster than the Note 3. Except for that one. Dang, except for that app. That app took some time. Excuse the sounds and everything. But as I was saying, because of the slower processor, it just takes some time to get to everything. So, features are great. Processor is terrible. Now for my wonderful Galaxy S9. Of course, I got some great features. I use Nova Launcher. I use Nova Launcher for all of my Galaxy phones. So with Nova Launcher, I can have a full screen and I can have a moving dock for apps and one folder for all my apps, all categorized. I do that for that phone. So features for both these phones, great, wonderful. But the processor of this, blazing fast. Blazing fast. If I need to get to Amazon, bam. Look how fast it is. Super fast. Processor here, ching ching. So as far as using the phone on a day-to-day, this one right here beats those two out of the box. Of course, the reason why is because it's a newer phone, newer processor, newer this, newer that. So it's understandable why this has great features, and the features that come with the update, the Android Pie update. I can just swipe up in the middle, get me to the home page, swipe to the left, that gets me back, and swipe to the right, that'll get you to your recents. That feature is absolutely great. And no buttons. Look how fast it is. Look how fast it is. So, as far as features on this, using this with features is just great because of the speed. Next up is the camera. You should already know who's going to be the winner of this. The older phones, not good cameras. Newer phone, better camera. So you already know the answer is going to be the S9, even though the camera on here is not that bad. I like that you can see the whole picture on the whole screen rather than it being cropped or anything. So I do like that. As you can see, it's a little choppy. So as far as picture quality and things like that, it's not that good. I don't like it. I don't like the Note at all. I mean, good zoom and everything, but look at it. When you get it inside, it gets grainy, lots of noise. So picture quality, not that good on the Note 3. Camera on the iPhone 6. Excuse me, I almost said Note 6, but iPhone 6. Okay, it's much smoother. Lot smoother. iPhone cameras has always been better than Samsung cameras. There's no question about that. I don't care how new the cameras are. I mean, they can get improved, you know what I'm saying? The S9 camera, very much improved, but, you know, at the end of the day, iPhone cameras are much better. Now, this one's an older camera. Not as much noise, but there is noise. It's blurry, it's faded. So, camera here, not very good either. Now, you gotta know the camera on here is good because I use this to record a lot of my videos on YouTube. So, getting on the camera on here, it's fast, it's zippy. Look at that image stabilization. That's wonderful to have. It's more vibrant. Yeah, you do get noise. You see how that fuzz? There's noise. Maybe if I be quiet and take a picture, it'll come out good. There we go. So as far as taking a picture, zooming in, yeah, it's way better. I mean, yeah, it's blurriness, it's noise, but it's better. It's better than, of course, both of these because both of those phones are older. So as far as picture quality, video quality, this is where it's at. S9 wins. Next up is versatility. Now, what I mean by versatility is how can you use a phone for more than just your average day-to-day? I mean, for one thing, you can use it as a camcorder or a camera or whatever. But in my case, I definitely like to use my phone as like a so-called mini computer / emulator player. So I love my old school games. I love my Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, things like that. And so that's one of the most, the versatile things I use on my phone or on my phone. And so all three of these phones are capable of playing emulators. So even if you don't have a jailbroken iPhone, it is possible to do so. You just have to look up some videos on YouTube to find out how to do it. But it's much easier to do on a jailbroken iPhone. So first up the bat, as far as emulators on here, on the Note 3, it is very possible to play your emulators. So I got emulators here, Genesis, MAME, that's your arcade, Nintendo 64, blah, blah, blah. And you can play your emulators using a nice, wonderful Bluetooth controller. Again, as I mentioned in past videos, this Wii controller is excellent. And I mean excellent for any Samsung phone, because when you pair it to the phone, it instantly configures for pretty much 99% of the emulators out there. You don't have to do any configurations unless you want buttons in a certain way. You can just play it right out of the box. I kid you not, it's wonderful. And it works with the Note 3. Even though this came out after the Note 3, this configures straight up to every emulator I have on here. It works great. So as far as being versatile, This is a great phone. It just doesn't have the power to play some of your newer emulators that the S9 can play. So as far as emulation games play, in that category, plays well. Now, as far as my trusty untethered jailbroken iPhone 6, this can play a whole lot of cool games. Got a lot of Chemical RPGs right here to play. Can't wait to play those. But as far as emulators, there's a couple. It's got a Nintendo DS. What's that one? Super Nintendo, Arcade, Sega Genesis, PSP, Game Boy Advance, and I mean it has more too. These are the ones that I got on here right now. So as far as playing emulated games, yes, it plays great. Drawback though, some controllers don't work with it. Even though it's Bluetooth, and this has Bluetooth, this isn't made for Apple. You got to get one of those MFI controllers made for Apple. Now, I don't know why I do know why certain controllers don't work, because if it's made for Apple, I bet gets a certain percentage of letting phones use their technology so that, I mean, not phones, but controller companies. Apple probably gets a piece of their pie, allowing them to license their technology for their phones to work with their controllers. So that's why, in my opinion, this will never work. But this, there will be no drivers for it, nothing like that. Now, one thing I do want to mention, 8-bit Dell, before changes started being made, the very first ones were actually pairable with iPhones. But when they changed the firmware, that all changed up. The newer ones, you can't pair these with an iPhone no matter how hard you try. That's all done. You can pair it with a Mac, which is funny, but you can't pair it with an iPhone. Why? Apple wants some of that money, and I understand that, but that was a bad move, Apple. Don't like that. Y'all stingy. So, when it did work, I did buy this little peripheral where I attach it to my, like this, 8-bit Dell controller. I mean, as you can see, it was paired. Actually, it is paired, but it's paired to my PC. Actually, correction, it's not paired anymore. So let me just turn that off. But as I was saying, I'll just let it flash. When I did use my 8-bit Dell with my iPhone, this is how I use it. So it looks really, really cool. This peripheral costs $10 at Amazon or even on eBay. So it just turns it into a nice portable game system. So that's what's really cool about that. But you can't use 8-bit Dell controllers anymore. You got to use probably a big, fat, flimsy looking controller. And that's what I don't like about Apple and having just a limited amount of controllers to use for emulated games. Now, as far as my trusty Galaxy S9, this, just like the Note 3, runs great emulators, and it can use the Wii controller right out of the box, no configuration needed. And because this is a newer phone with a faster processor, you can play a lot more emulators on here, especially the Dolphin emulator. What? You can play Nintendo GameCube and Nintendo Wii games on here? That is the hot butter on the popcorn. What? You can play PS2? Are you serious? PS2 games, full speed, people, right here on your phone. How cool is that? That is awesome. Love it. What else you can do on here? Oh yeah. Also released the Citra emulator, which will allow you to play 3DS games, full speed, right here on your S9 and S10 when that comes out. Of course, probably not all games run at full speed, so you have to check the compatibility list. So just check the list out. But still, just to have all those features on your phone, use this as an emulator station. And this controller makes it look like a PSP. That's what's up. So like I said, Android phones, fantastic for emulation. Apple phones, and not so good. So at the end of the day, which phone is the best phone for me as far as everything that I just talked about? Technically, it would be the Note 3. Why? Even though it's a slower processor, the camera sucks and whatever. I mean, I can still use this for a camera, to record video, or to use my RX 100 that I'm using right now. But the one thing that makes this phone stand out is the stylus. This right here is the coolest thing that was ever made for a phone to jot down notes very, very fast. That's what's up. So, the Note 3, again, would be my go-to. However, there's a new contender. There's a video that's I'm gonna release. I think I'm gonna release it before this one, where I reviewed a stylus case that was made for the iPhone, and it was made by this company called what's the name of it? Here we go. Ibiopen? I don't even know how to pronounce that. Who cares how it's pronounced? Ibiopen. But anyway, they made the case and everything, and it's a third-party company, so it's not licensed by Apple, or they're not licensing anything from Apple for the stylus to work, because third-party styluses, they could just be used with any capacitive screen for the most part. Most of them, not all of them. And so with the stylus, which is right here, and as you can see, it's on. Because it's third party, again, it was made for the iPhone. And as you can see, it works on the iPhone. But not only does it work for the iPhone, it also works for the Note 3. What? Which means, guess what? You already know the deal. It's going to work for the S9. So a stylus that's small and compact and sleek that works for the S9 instead of having one of those styluses that are big, or one of those fake ones with the rubber tips or whatever. Man, I can't stand those. This right here, carbon fiber tip, nice and sleek, and it's powered. It's powered, which means that if I go to Notes, watch this. Dang it. That's a save note. So give me a second. Okay, now I'm ready. So here's a blank page where you can just write on the screen and what's up? Say what? Writable stylus right on here on your screen. Pressure sensitivity. So if you write light, it's light. And if you press down, it gets even darker. Yo, that is what's up. A stylus for the S9. I do not, have to buy a Note 9. Money saved. The stylus case costs $61.99 on Amazon. I just got it today. And to know that this works with any phone makes any phone a contender with a Note phone. Because now you have a stylus that will work on any of these phones. And as a little case, well, I actually had to rip it off the case for the iPhone, so that I can put it on a case for my S9, the case I'm going to be getting in a day or so. So this just makes it really, really awesome. Now that I have a stylus for the S9, guess what? Note 3, goodbye. iPhone, goodbye. This, because of the faster processor, the better camera, the versatility, the versatility to play emulated games, the things that you can do with it. It's still a newer phone, so it still has a whole lot of life. It's still getting updates. It just makes this phone the best phone that I can use, especially now that I can use a stylus with it. So, at the end of the day, even though all these phones are great, tried them out, I was very happy with the phones. The S9 right now is my clear winner. This is now my daily driver with my stylus. So, I hope you liked the video, so that you can make some decisions on what you're going to buy for yourself, whether you get the S10 that's going to come out and give yourself 3 years of payments, because you know it's going to cost at least $1,000. I ain't trying to hear that for a phone. I'll hear that for a computer, but definitely not for a phone. So, make the best decision that you can as far as where your dollar is going to be spent. Me personally, the S9 is one of the best phones I've ever purchased aside from the iPhone 5 or 5S. That was the best phone that Apple has ever made. So like I said, if you liked the video, thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, ask away. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Tell your friends about my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video.